Dave, I got to get to something that I have not a bone to pick with you, but you are a Philly guy, so maybe you're
Oh
guilty by
boy.
association.
Okay. What we got?
I was in Denver this past week and really looking forward to what I thought was going to be MVP weekend. Denver played Milwaukee, and it was going to be Jokic versus Giannis, and even Jokic to Brook Lopez to a certain degree because he was the Defensive Player of the Year leading candidate. And then it was the big showdown between Jokic and Embiid. Let me take you back to Saturday night. Jokic, right out the bat, normally he comes out of games and he's very like, feel it out. I'm going to pass the ball. I'm going to get other guys involved. Right from the get-go, attacking Brook Lopez, getting him in foul trouble. Brook was as upset as I've ever seen him. He got a technical while he was on the bench. Giannis had issues with the refs all night, and, it was, I'd have to say Jokic won that battle, okay? They won the game. So now it sets up for the big matchup, and the morning of, I think Tim Bontemps and I are going to the arena to shoot for NBA Today, and we find out about an hour earlier from Ramona Shelburne and Woj that Embiid's not playing. He's got a calf issue. Now, Embiid had played at Phoenix, and he had been playing on this road trip. I believe the previous games were back-to-back. And so this certainly, look, the writers I talked to there from Philly and even a New York writer who was traveling with the Sixers to do an MP feature said Embiid didn't look good. He did look a little hobbled. So I'm not going to say that, Embiid's making up this injury, but it certainly seems very curious, okay, that it came out early that he wasn't going to play. Normally they wait until under 30 left on the clock to decide that he's
That's
not
right.
going to play. They watch him go through a warm up and all that. And so, this is really curious because it really upset me, Dave. I even think you took a picture of Bontemps and I before we went live on air. And
You were going through it, man.
I had resting, pissed off face because I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, I don't care. The optics are just not good, Dave. They're not. And so I'm not going to go as far as Perk to say Embiid was ducking Joker, okay? But he certainly had more to lose than gain by playing. How did you feel about him not playing?
So it's funny. I had your similar take originally, certainly just because there are so many regular season games. And when you get one where it just feels like this is the stars aligning for meaning a little bit more than 182, actually a lot of it more than 182 in this case. Yeah, you just want everything to work out. And when a guy had just played, it's not like he's out with a broken leg or something like that. You're like, oh man, like, what are you doing here? Now, I got to give shout out to DeMarcus Cousins, who's doing some work for Showtime. And I heard him speaking about Joel Embiid's decision here. And he said, this is as big of a sign of Joel Embiid's belief that the Sixers can do something in the postseason as you're going to get. And it can go very far with equity in his locker room, where if everybody in that locker room knows that Joel's not 100% or not close to it, and he's going to just go out for the personal glory of trying to win MVP and perhaps further tweak a calf injury that could hamper him when the games really, really matter for that entire team in the playoffs, you're not going to gain respect from your teammates. You're going to lose respect from your teammates. And, once I heard Cousins say that, I was like, it makes a ton of sense. If this is the case of him being smart now to potentially, do what all Philly fans want, which is to get the first Sixer championships in 1983, I respect it.
I don't know. Be smart and don't play against Phoenix. Like, could he have heard it in Phoenix? Yes, absolutely. But the optics don't look good. And so right after we did our hit, and I couldn't hide my disappointment on NBA Today because as an MVP voter, you have a vote too, Dave. I needed to see this matchup one more time to help solidify my vote. I'm sorry. I don't have my mind made up. Mm-hmm. This is going down to the final week for me because, look, I'm trying to honor this. This is an extreme honor. And I know you feel the same way, Dave, that we have a vote. Okay. I don't take this lightly, man. I've looked at him like Joel Embiid to me is the better player, right? It depends on what your criteria is, but my criteria is not just like black and white here, okay? Yes, should Michael Jordan, the best player in the world, have won more MVPs? I absolutely believe that, yes. I mean, Karl Malone might have had a terrific season, but I'm always like, why did Michael Jordan not win every year? So if you were to go by that point, then yeah, I believe Joel Embiid is a better player than Nikola Jokic because he's a more dominant offensive player. He's better defensively too, but Jokic is a special player too because of what he does for his team and all the stuff that he does that is so unique. So you have one guy who's leading the league at 33 points per game, having an unbelievable season. At one point had 10 straight 30-point games, the longest streak for a center since Shaquille O'Neal did it with 11 straight, okay? At the same time, the Nuggets were taking a nosedive and it lost, I think, 4 or 5 games. And so it just didn't look good at that time. But on the other side, you got a guy who's damn near averaged a triple-double the whole season. Right now, he's at 9.9 assists, so he's probably going to get it let's just say he's going to average a triple-double by the end of the season. Right now, as of tonight, 29 triple-doubles this season, okay, for a center who runs his team like a point guard. So I'm looking at it like the last time a guy averaged a triple-double, Russell Westbrook, he was MVP, right, Dave? So it's like, what are we going off here? I mean, and here's the thing, when they went head to head, and this is, I think, the Nuggets' bone of contention, because right after I did my hit with Malika and NBA Today, and a coach came out and talked to me from the Nuggets side and said, I just saw your hit. I can't believe Embiid's not playing because listen, we get it. When they faced each other in Philadelphia, Embiid went off, okay? And then in the second half, they put PJ Tucker on Jokic, not Embiid, and PJ Tucker did a good job. But give Joker the chance to defend his home court after losing in Philadelphia, another chance to go at Embiid, and Embiid's not giving that to him, okay? Yep. And in that game that they played in Philadelphia, let me give all the fans the stats. Embiid, 47 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 4 for 7 threes. Dominant game. Joker, 8 for 12, 24 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks in a Philadelphia victory. So definitely, Joker was looking forward to facing Embiid. I know it. Joker will never admit it, but I know he was looking forward to facing Embiid again, making hopefully a statement. And listen, we could have gotten Dave. What would have likely happened? Embiid would have had his 30 and 15, okay? Joker probably would have had a triple-double, and maybe Denver wins, and we're still stuck right there in the middle. But I do want to have one question for you, Dave, before we leave this topic. Does Embiid not playing impact your view on the MVP race at all? Prior to going in, I don't know where you were at. I kind of had Embiid slightly ahead of Joker, okay? I don't know what happened, but after that, I was kind of like, man, I think now we're tied. I don't know why. I think it was human nature. It kind of impacted me negatively for Embiid.
I don't think that game will, or certainly in my voting, will not discount his candidacy. It could have added to it. It could have detracted from it, but he's still right there in the mix. And, we are asked from colleagues on the TV side, radio side, .com side, what are we going to pick? What are we going to pick? We're publishing things. We're putting up videos. Tim Bontemps does his thorough straw poll. And this, normally I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you where I'm at because it's something that I'm constantly keeping track of in some level in my brain, but I don't really want to share anyone what I have right now because I don't know. Yeah, it's that close. And it could, quite frankly, come down to this last week where I'm going to vote, whether one of these guys leads their team on a 5 or 6 game winning streak, I should say, to close out the regular season, to have momentum going into the postseason, whether one of these guys does something historic statistically, whether one of these guys, struggles in this final stretch. All of those things matter. Now, traditionally, my general view of MVP, because it is undefined by the NBA, to generate debate amongst us who vote and fans, et cetera. So we have a reason to care more about these regular season games, quite frankly. It's the best player on the best team. Well, right now, we've been talking about Nikola and Joel. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's the best player on the best team. And he certainly is not out of the realm of winning it, or at least getting my vote come April 9th when we have to send in our awards. And so it's as tight as we can recall. I voted for Joel last year. And generally when I vote for a guy a year prior. I like to see something more the next year. That's just my own thinking on things.
Both of them have stepped it up since last year. I mean,
Right.
you think about a back-to-back MVP, how can you get any better? Dude's going to average a triple-double. I mean, this is how close it is. Tim Bontemps' straw poll, which, by the way, I gave Tim Bontemps grief. I'm like, why are you asking me for my straw poll with 1 week to go? I'm like, because, and he goes, well, it doesn't mean this is your vote. And I go, but fans don't understand that. I don't even think the players understand that. I think the players look at the straw poll and think, this is what everybody's going to vote with 1 week to go. And by the way, if that were the case, Bontemps straw poll, Jokic with more first place votes, 42-40 by 2. But Embiid takes the overall 790 to 788 points because he has more second place ballots. And then Giannis is in third. So it is good. I mean, it looks like everybody is like us, that we're like NBA Cross Court is asking me to record a video who my MVP is. Today was supposed to be the deadline. I didn't hand it in. And they were like, okay, we'll give you to Monday. And I'm just like, what am I going to say? It's not going to be decided. I'm going to literally tell people, I think this is who my MVP is as of Monday, April 3rd. You know what I mean? There's still games we played. I don't know. I really don't know. I can tell you this, Dave, I'm going to pour over the stats. I mean, it's going to be torture because I really like just giving the straw poll to Bontemps. Bontemps, he was like, well, they're not playing tonight, so give me your 5. And I'll be like, no. I'm going to wait after this game. I want to see how Jokic plays, you know? And the whole game, I went over every statistic. I poured over NBA stats and info, all this stuff. And I still, right down to my 5th pick, and right down to I was like, literally like, do I pick Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic? I'm going over the stats over that. So like, I take this very seriously. I know you do. I don't know what I'm going to be pulling out my hair for the rest of the week.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.